All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Charlotte English Wright, your Assistant Wellness Coordinator here at the school district. And we have our first virtual workshop of the new school year. And we have the pleasure of having a, she is not a stranger to the school district. Ms. Nada Cory of the Joseph P. Cory Foundation. If you've had the opportunity to hear her speak before, she is amazing. She has a wealth of knowledge. So we are going to have a presentation called Ready, Set, Grow. Be a champion of your own health. And Ms. Nada Curry, go ahead and take it away.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to today's call. So Charlotte is going to be moving the PowerPoint along as I'm going to speak. But if you haven't heard of the Joseph P. Cory Foundation, this is the opportunity. We are with the school district for many years already. Actually, we exist for 10 years. As the foundation, and we are affiliated with the school district as well as with the Parks and Recreation Organization. And we have gardens wherever we have good stewardship in any of the schools that want to have a garden. We help them out. We are truly partners with them. We clean up together, we plant together, and we hold a hand along the way from the start to the end, learning how to grow, how to prepare the soil, because we live in Florida. We don't have really soil. We have sand, so we have to build our soil. And then what do you do with the produce or with whatever you're growing afterwards? I'm a born Croatian woman, and I've been raised on my maternal grandparents' farm my early years, my first 9 years of life, where I followed them around and learned all about sustainable living and gardening and planting and harvesting and preparing and so on. So that's me in the nutshell. And then we can move on to the next one, Charlotte. So what is today's focus? Why having a garden? And simple methods to plant one. And then also going to learn about things that get to expire in our refrigerator or in our pantry and what to do with it, or do we just dump it? So I think we are becoming more conscious about all of these subjects. So it would be, to me, logical that having a garden is beneficial in many, many ways. And we just mentioned a few before, where Laura mentioned something about sensory gardens. So a garden can positively affect your mind, your body, and your spirit. And that's what's happening when you're working in a garden. So when you're touching an herb or a plant that releases its oils and its scent, your oily factors in your body are taking it in, and it has an effect on you. It either wakes you up or calms you down. It changes your mood, basically. And touching the soil, working with the soil, working with the plants also helps grounding your body, because we are so exposed with, we're exposed to all of these electromagnetic fields that are working with. Somebody is not muted. So, which has then, we're absorbing all of that into our body, and you have felt that and seen that when you are walking on all day, the rugs, the static that builds up in your body, and you touch something or someone and there is a spark, basically. So by working in a garden, you are releasing that into the soil, just like the grounding wires that we put in our electrical circuitry. And of course, the spirit, the connection to nature, to Mother Nature, to everything that is life and is created. So that are all these great benefits just by having a garden. So you're nourishing your body, you're nourishing your soul, and you're nourishing your mind. Okay, we can move on. Now, here in Florida, we are very fortunate that we can pretty much grow something all year round. We don't have to deal with snow and sleet and ice and freezing temperatures. So the only thing is we do not have soil. We have primarily sand. So we need to build up our soil for our garden beds, whether they are in ground or raised beds or pots or whatever it is. We need to put good soil and nutritious soil, healthy soil in there in order to be able to grow. This is a whole list of different veggies and herbs and fruits that will grow well in our zone. Our zone is zone 10. Zone 10 zones are basically areas that are determined by temperature. What can grow? Something that will grow better in the north, where you have a dormant period of the winter, will probably not do so well here because it does need that dormant state. Okay, so we're fortunate. Let's go on. Now, your space, your place. So you decide what you can use as a garden. You can just put a pot out on your patio in front of your front door or wherever, and you can put some herbs that will benefit you, like basil and rosemary and oregano and so on. And you can grow it there. You can have a tower garden that's like a hydroponic garden, which you can put on wheels and move it wherever you want it. It can be indoors, it can be outdoors. You can create a raised bed and you can raise it to whatever comfort height it is for you. You can create a window box, or you can just grow your microgreens. Microgreens is very easily, it's grown basically inside or in a protected area, and you just put those seeds in there of anything that you want to grow, and then you harvest while these seedlings are just like an inch or so big, and you have the most nutrients in those seedlings. So microgreens are highly beneficial for your nutrition. It is full of minerals and vitamins. All right, so we can move on. Soil, containers. What do you need for a successful garden? Obviously, when you need a container, you need a place where you're going to put your good soil that is full of nutrients in there, and you need water access. So your plants need water just like we do. Whether it's a sprinkler that is put on a timer, or you just take a can or your hose and just water on a regular basis. You need exposure to sun, but not constantly. You don't want to have your, certain delicate plants, if they're exposed in the midday heat, they will wilt, right? So you have to understand where it is best in your vicinity to plant. And of course, you require a little patience, which is a good exercise for all of us to have, correct? So soil, containers, nutrients, water, patience, and exposure to sunlight. Planting. How do we plant? When do we plant? Okay. So you can purchase good soil. You can create your own good soil by composting. I'm sure you've heard of that, where you collect your scraps and in a bin, if you have a garden or a place where you can do that. And there is a method how to do that. So you can create your own nutrients for your garden. And just make sure that it is, hopefully organic soil and not full of pesticides and stuff. That wouldn't be too good, because that will go into your plants that you're going to plant. If you have a raised bed, you would like to put into the planter like a coconut mat, like a coil, which is going to help in maintaining the moisture and keep the moisture in the bin for the plants longer, so it will not just dehydrate and evaporate too quickly. Plus, the coconut also is nutrients for your plants. So you have your raised bed, you have your coconut core fiber that you laid in or mat, and now you put in the good soil, and you have your either your seeds or your seedlings. If you have seeds, the rule of thumb is that the size of the seed, double that, or and put that deep into the soil. So the size of the seed, the bean is obviously bigger than a small seed, and you just put it, not too deep, just double of that size of that seed that you're putting in there. If you have seedlings, you can, you grow your seedlings separately in like a cedar tray, which you create little plugs, and when they are a couple inches tall and strong, then you can transplant them into your garden bed, whatever size and kind it is, and you can plant them directly into the soil. So just remember, whenever you're planting a seedling, what seedling is that? That will grow into a full-grown plant. Like a kale seedling is tiny, maybe a couple inches now as a seedling, but it will grow into a maybe, a diameter of a foot or so. So you don't overcrowd the planter where you're planting your seedlings. When you're watering, of course, you have to make sure that the plants are getting water. If they're not, they will wilt, just like we do. How do you feel when you don't drink water? You just want to collapse, right? So you need a drink of water. The plants need the same, because majority of the consistency of a plant is water, just like us, right? 75%, 80% water. The same thing with the plant, maybe even more so. So make sure that they're watered. Don't water them in the peak of the sun, because that will burn the plant. It will damage the plant. Don't overwater the plants either. So how do you tell if the soil needs more water? You take a handful of the soil. If it crumbles in your hands, but you feel the moisture, it's fine. But if it sticks together and clumps together, it's too much water, and that will then create rot as well. Okay, so just know those little few tricks. All right, and if you have any questions, we can ask them afterwards. And the location I already said, so it needs light. Now, what do we do tending to the garden? Primarily, it's watering, making sure that the plants get enough water, that it gets enough sunlight, and you pay attention and see if there is anything going on, if there are any bugs or anything that might be starting to eat on your plant. They like the plants because they're good for them too. So don't let your garden be unattended. Go there and breathe that fresh air outside and check on their leaves, check on the health of your plant. Now, some of them eventually will need trimming, like the herbs. They like to be trimmed. So when you have a nice bushy, let's say basil or thyme or oregano, and it's like a foot high, you want to trim it, and you can trim it down to a couple inches from the bottom. You collect the tops, and now you can either dehydrate them and dry them. You can tie them in a bundle, hang them up somewhere, and they will dry naturally. Or you can create your pesto. You can freeze your pesto if you know what pesto is. If you don't, well, on our website, you can actually have, you can see videos where I'm creating it, and you can see a lot of recipes there as well. So harvesting is a key for your herbs, because they will grow better and stronger. Veggies, as they grow and they mature, you pick them and then you eat them. Obviously, you're not going to pick a tomato and it's green unless it's a green tomato, for the tomatillo, for example. Because when it is in its full color, it's also ripe and ready to eat, and has all that flavor, all the flavors and all the nutrients fully ready to be eaten. So water, Keep the pests away from your plants. If you see any on any of the leaves, you can take the leaf off and smash those critters, destroy them. Don't leave them just there, because they will return and go to the next plant. Okay, so keep an eye on that. And there are natural things that you can also spray. You can create your own little spray for the bugs. And we already talked about the harvesting quite a bit. So if the only thing I didn't mention, if your herbs or any of the plants go into flowering, and they will eventually turn into seed pockets. Now, let them go and then collect your seed pockets, collect the seeds once the flowers have matured and the seeds have matured. Take them off, dry them up, and crush those little hulls that they're hiding in. And there you go. You have your own seed for the next year's garden. Okay? You can collect and have your own seeds that way. There you go. We can continue. All right, now let's go and rummage our fridge. We all have a tendency of probably buying too much of veggies and fruits, and we don't eat them all. So now they're getting to the end of their life expectancy. You don't want to just throw them out. If you do, compost them, because they will become nutrients for your soil for next season. Okay, but a lot of veggies can be used to put them in a big pot and create your own veggie broth, right? So you can put them all there, and you wash them thoroughly, and you put them in there, and then you strain that out, and you have your veggie broth, your own homemade veggie broth. Fruits, you can blend them into your smoothies. You can make popsicles with them. You can also, a lot of, like I do, every morning I juice my veggies, and I make myself freshly squeezed or made veggie juice. So there are many ways how you can preserve, or you can even dehydrate some of your vegetables. Have you ever tried kale chips? They're excellent. And you can dehydrate your fruits as well, and you give them to your kids as dehydrated fruits. They would love it. They will love it. Plus, you don't have to worry about the expiration date anymore. Okay, so don't let your veggies and your fruits go to waste. You can utilize them even when they are at the end of their life expectancy, so to say. Okay, so lots to do. There's many recipes. You can just go on the Joseph P. Cory Foundation's website or sign up, and you can get our newsletters, and we're always sharing recipes. Okay, that's pretty much all you can do. So use whatever you can do. You can add them to your topping as your pizza. You can have you ever made homemade guacamole, right? Have you ever made brownies with avocado? Have you ever made your key lime pie with avocado, ripe avocado? Delicious and very healthy. The herbs, you can dry them in many forms or shapes. You can make pestos and sauces with them. You can infuse them. You can infuse your oils with it, your vinegars with it. So many ways to use everything. There is actually no excuse to throwing anything away in my book. Thank you. All right, let's go on. There's more examples what you can do, right? Before, if you have your eggs there for a while, what do? You can create hard-boiled eggs, and you can make your egg salad with it, for example. Hardened sugars, well, yeah, you can break them down. You can put them in a food processor and break it down. You can actually make powdered sugar out of sugar. your bread when it's starting to kind of dry up a little bit, well, put them in the oven, put some herbs on it, and sprinkle with some maybe good olive oil or some garlic, and create your own croutons. They will be delicious, and you made them. Mayonnaise. Well, do you know how to make mayonnaise? It's very, very simple. So you just need some oil. You can use any good oil. You can use avocado oil. You can use olive oil, and you just drizzle a little bit of lemon as you are mixing, and you can add you can add your egg yolk in there, and that's how mayonnaise is made. And you spice it. You put a little bit of salt and pepper if you like, and you just gently blend it with your blender, and you made your own mayonnaise. It's very easy to do. Eggshells. Eggshells are excellent for your garden. So you can collect your eggshells, and you can crush them in your processor, food processor, and pulverize them. Put them around your tomatoes, and guess what? Those slugs, those snails, will not go and attack your tomatoes because they don't like those shells. They're sharp. Plus, there's a lot of potassium in those shells. There's a lot of nutrients for your tomatoes in those shells. I already told you about the composting. You can compost anything, and there is a ratio. So if you have like one third in your bin of the cuttings of your veggies, including your eggshells, you can put in there and all of that. Then you have to have another layer of something brown, like brown paper. Paper bags or sticks or something that is of that nature. You break it down and you put it in there. So there's a ratio. You mix one and the other together, and you create a very healthy soil for your garden. Okay. As I mentioned it also before, so what do you do with what you grow? Salads, juices, dehydrating them, freezing them. You can, and you can save your seeds to regrow whatever you have grown yourself. I mentioned that throughout this whole conversation with you. And if you, there is I'm doing also cooking with Nada classes at my house. I'm starting in November again. I'm doing a series of 5 where we gather and we create a whole meal, which we then in the end enjoy. So you have a lot of those recipes and a lot of these things on the website that you can check out. And if you have any questions or concerns, well, reach out, and I'll be happy to answer them. Okay. So, well, this is a wise little quote. If you have a garden and a library, you will have everything you need. Right? William Kent. I am open to any questions if you have them for me. So go ahead.